Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here. So we are in Altess Levoire here, and again, just keep in mind you are forced to use the gun only in these sections. I actually do enjoy these sections, honestly, especially first time running through them. It definitely is a little bit. It's just a dabble of horror in there, which I kind of like. It reminded me a little bit of Resident Evil. That being said, the time of different places being there is a little bit confusing. And as you can see, these guys kind of hide around corners a lot, so I try to either bait out their attack or, some other things. But Eagle Eye really helps during this section. Your other access bind doesn't matter, really. Unless you want to have defense, but keep in mind, I am in New Game Plus, so if you're in regular game, you're not gonna have as many ammo options necessarily. The one you need to unlock first is the rocket. The rocket turns the final boss of this area into an absolute joke. And this boss was still pretty easy, and I did not have the rocket upgrade, but we will be getting to that boss at some point. Now, of course, while gameplay stuff is going on, I'm going to take some opportunities to insert some things that I did kind of want to talk about sort of in the background. That doesn't really matter to the gameplay necessarily, but this puzzle here is fucking stupid. You have to walk on the exact order that it shows you. So you have to walk on, triangle, circle, X, square. You cannot skip them. So even if you know the right path, you have to land on every single plate. This one was kind of a pain in the ass to do. I'm getting a little bit more used to it now, but it's kind of a pain in the ass. Like, you have to jump on every single one of those. So it kind of sucks, but as you can see, I was a Giga Chad here, and I just did it first try somehow. The fake platforms will fall.
Great. Let's move to the next area.
So there you can see also we are not going to read any of the tabs or any of the info, the little things that we can pick up. I am leaving that for y'all at home to read through. I've already read through most of them. The only reason why we are picking them up is to progress Lily's bar on one of the top corners. We're progressing that specifically because we need to get to that secret area to obtain all outfits. My recommendation to those of you that are wanting to platinum the game, in your first 2 runs, do Lily's progress bar. And then in your 3rd run, because you can do Game Plus this again, that being said, it does ramp up in difficulty, I believe, so just keep that in mind. But on that 3rd run, you cannot do Lily's progress bar. So that is my tip if y'all want to just do the whole entire platinum on one save. That's my recommendation to y'all, is to do it across 3 New Game Pluses. Because by the time you hit that 3rd run, you should have all the gear that you need. And you can just slap it on easy mode and just blaze through that third run. What we are on currently is my all outfit save. I have a different save that okay. So y'all know here on the channel, I love my platinum saves. In Bloodborne, I have a very particular platinum save where I did the Chalice Dungeons, and I usually have a save file for games that I platinum on the save that I do the bulk of the save stuff. I usually my first save is usually the save to just go through, finish the game. My second save is usually for the platinumation. In Spider-Man 2, however, I am currently going through New Game Plus, I won't be necessarily putting it on a channel or anything, but since I do have the base game platinum for it, the only thing I'm missing is the New Game Plus little add-on. So, yeah, currently, though, we are on my all-outfit save, which is different than my New Game Plus save, because I actually kept missing an outfit. The one in 807 where you have to smash the wall, I kept missing that outfit for whatever reason. It was just kind of dumb. I also did not have the 807, the 809 New Game Plus outfits, so this is my all outfits save, so that when shift up, adds new outfits and stuff. I plan on going into New Game Plus 3. The plan on going into another New Game Plus, getting 2 Roxanne, just making sure that I can get all the outfits they add to Roxanne, and also boss challenge stuff, so I can just do whatever outfit I want to slap on. In case I feel like, oh, I want to fight the demo crawler or such, because I do like fighting the demo crawler. Can't wait till we get to that boss. So fun. But, I am going to use this time to talk a little bit about how the structure of these is going to work in the future. First and foremost, Matrix 11 is going to be split up into 2 episodes. It just is. There's really no, because if I did it in 1 episode, it would be about 2 hours long, and I'm going to try to keep these episodes to, like, an hour or less amount of time. The first Matrix 11 episode might be a little bit longer than that, so just bear with me on that. That being said, the second, so basically for this, first Matrix 11 episode will go until just before the second boss in that area, because once we get to, and then that episode after that, we'll fight that second boss, the third boss. I believe that'll probably be enough time, but if we have any time left after that, I will do the extra outfit that is in Matrix 11 that you have to come back to, and we probably won't be able to get Levy on those, because that requires progress in the Great Desert, unfortunately. But it's one of those we'll get to when we get theirs. Now, as far as, everything else, I am going to try out First Descendants. I am going to try it out on my own time, see if I like it. My only issue with what I've seen so far, that, at least from what I've seen of the characters you can play as, none of them properly fit how I like to play necessarily. Ajax has my favorite design, but it doesn't necessarily fit. I tend to play aggressively, especially after Bloodborne. I do tend to play aggressively, which in Shadow of the Air Tree, you're kind of incentivized not to, because Elden Ring's gameplay doesn't really lend itself very well to that, even though the bosses are super aggressive. Speaking of Shadow of the Air Tree DLC, so the reason why I was struggling so much was apparently the max Shadow Air Tree fragments, like levels, is 20. I wasn't even at 15. Like, no wonder why I was struggling so much to bosses like Vesper, because I was missing a lot of them, and I wasn't really worried about my Spirit Ash thing. I think +5 is really good. I would be worried if it went beyond, if it goes to 10. I personally would be a little bit iffy about that. I feel like with the Mimic it makes it a little bit too easy, but I didn't realize that my Scatter Air Tree fragments, because I didn't look at what the max was. Because I thought it was 15, so I was like, oh, I'm close to max. There's no reason, yada, yada, yada. But, no. Knowing that, though, and From Software did make it a little bit easier, so that's not as necessary to get to 20. But that was before, that was after I did my whole video thing or whatever. But when we go through it with Torchic at some point, it probably won't be, that series probably won't start for another week, because I'm going to be quite busy, and her and I don't really have a ton of time together anyways, which kind of sucks, but it's one of those it is what it is situations. The only mod I will have on is if the DLC stuff works with it. The only mod we'll have on is changing all of the lower tier items to Scatter Air Tree fragments and the Spirit Ash things. Just because I don't want to find every single fucking Scatter Air Tree location, and all of these Somber Stone and Smithy Stone 1s, 2s, and 3s are fucking useless to me. They're just absolutely abysmal. I don't understand why they're there. So, we'll be changing that. Other than that, we're not changing anything else.
Success.
No damage resist mods, no none of that. Especially since I was able to beat every single Remembrance boss except for Consort and Mikola, legitimately. This should be decently easier. For Seamless Call, we are both going to be using our mimics for some of the bosses. I think there's probably most of them, honestly. It kind of depends on how much damage they output when we get a lot of scarcity fragments put up. It just kind of depends on how much damage we take. We might do one of those situations where, okay, we summon one mimic, okay, we can summon one more mimic, okay, after this one dies. So that's probably how we're going to do it. That's at least how we're going to do it for Mesmer and Consort of Mikola. Mesmer is going to be a little bit difficult because I'm going to have to go through the fog gate first, summon my mimic, do the whole attack things like I do normally, and then attempt to lure him away, and then Torchic can go through the fog door. That's just how we're going to have to do it. There's just no other real way around it. But now, as we get into the little bit of the deep parts of Altess Levoire, I can explain a little bit of the lore kind of surrounding these two areas. There's a second area called, I believe the second area is Abyss Levoire. This is Altess Levoire. The area kind of behind these is, both of these areas kind of take place before the war between the Andro Eidos and the humans. These areas kind of popped up because the humans were losing extremely badly, so they set up these facilities. I can't necessarily explain why necessarily, because that is a pretty massive spoilers that will be explained once we reach the second one. Raven was a part of the 1st Airborne Division. Eve is, I believe, the 7th? I want to say Eve is in the 7th? I'm pretty sure that's the case. But Raven was a part of the 1st Division that came down. Raven did find these areas. Raven's story and stuff will be expanded upon later for the most part, but there's a little bit of, if you've played the game before, you can definitely notice a little bit of details, but these Natives are different for a reason. These are the early stages of the Nativas. The one we see on the surface and everything there are more the later stages of Nativas. And of course, we won't be fighting any alphas for a little while. Something I wasn't necessarily too happy about was a lot of the alpha Nativas. You don't fight till like basically the end of the game, basically, where it's just kind of rapid fire, which I'm not necessarily a huge fan of myself. But it's one of those, well, it is what it is sort of situations. But also, we love these guys so much. Those guys can be taken out with just basic bitch guns, but some of them you do have to shoot the fucking barrels for. In the next episode for Matrix 11, there is a little bit of a cheese you can do. It's not necessarily a cheese necessarily, but it makes things a hell of a lot easier. By the way, that guy is triggered by opening that chest. So, just slap that in the notes. Also, the door on the left here is the correct door, but when we have to find a body but 2, there is a chest, which I completely ignore. Well, actually, I do find this, but I do collect this body first. I always remember that code, but just remembering it as Onion. That's what I remember it as. So that's pretty funny. But back to, I did want to talk a little bit about Destiny 2. I know Surges are gone. It's absolutely fantastic. I did actually do a little bit of the Witness fight. I just don't care about it. It's just if I cared about the loot at all, then I might actually run the raid. But I was just like, the loot, the armor's ass. I re-looked at the Titan arms and I was mistaken. Those shit is dog shit. But I was like, I don't really care. It's just one of those sort of situations. But as far as, okay, as a Titan main,
When does making it hard to control the drone?
Titan identity is a little bit kind of iffy currently. I think, in my opinion, first off, Titans have been the least amount have used Guardians for quite a long time. Like, quite a long time. Hunters have almost always been number one. And yes, it is true that barely anyone at Bungie actually plays Titan. Even if you want to look at into light streams, not a single Titan was played into the last stream. Not a single Titan was played. Not a single one until it was the Whisper. No, I think it was actually 0 Hour. I believe it was 0 Hour. Not a single Titan was played, and a lot of people, do have a misconception that Lance Reddick, R.I.P., was a Titan main. He was not. Lance Reddick was a Warlock main. However, the last character he was on was his Titan. I believe, it's just my personal opinion, I'm guess that he liked to play Titan through story stuff, and, especially the Titan first, but spent most of his time on Warlock. That's what I would surmise. But yes, he was a Warlock main. Barely anyone at Bungie is a Titan main. And you just can't have that happening. You just can't have a fucking whole entire Guardian class where barely anyone at your studio plays. You just can't. How can you properly balance a class like that? And in my opinion, this is going to be some hot takes. Strand is perfectly fine. In my opinion, Void is perfectly fine. In my opinion, Solar is perfectly fine. I think the two that struggle the most are Arc and Stasis. It's just Arc Titan is really weak. For whatever reason. Well, not for whatever reason, but it's just we have... Arc Titan is probably the most blandest to use, even though I really like using Electric. I'm a huge Lightning guy. But it's extremely weak. There's really nothing special to it. Like, Solar Titan has sunspots, Void Titan has overshields, And Arc Titan has what? Nothing. And Stasis Titan, its biggest problem is its super. If Stasis Titan had a more viable super, because super requires the enemy to be on the ground. And I mean on the ground. Even if it's floating, it sometimes won't hit properly. If Stasis Titan had a different super and a fucking better melee, Stasis Titan would be infinitely better. Arc is the biggest fucking issue. Thundercrash's damage needs to come up because there really is no point in using it on Prismatic over Axes. I wanted to use Curious, but the biggest issue... I wanted to use Thundercrash, but it's just really bad without Curious. It's just absolute dog shit without Curious. So, I think Arc and Stasis really do need the most help currently. It just sucks. But, back to Stellar Blade here. We are here at the final boss of Altess Levoire, which I actually enjoy this boss. Torture was the first to point out that it looked like Leshen from Ghost of the Lamb. I believe that's the one's name. But as you can kind of see, I think I actually, for the first time, do run out of ammo a little bit here. But as you can see with the explosive shell, I basically have infinite ammo. But it has to be on a precision hit. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, I don't know if it's just the hard mode specifically, but I think he actually spawns the enemies for ammo a little bit less often. Which is fine, but... Also, I'm really glad it pauses when you hit that weapon wheel. But as you can kind of see, the rocket fucks him up, and this is without the rocket actually being upgraded for New Game Plus. So, yeah, I'm just gonna let this fight play out. Afterwards, there is going to be a little bit of a cutscene. Yeah, I'm gonna let all that good stuff play out.
hypercell's preservation status is good.
Great. Be careful with it now. You should head back. I'll have the pod waiting for you once you go outside.
Wait. There's a legacy here.
A legacy? What's that?
It's a device with records left by the airborne squad before me. They leave important information for the next airborne squad.
I see. But why would an airborne squad come all the way here?
Maybe they knew something about the Alpha or the Elder.
I'll check the legacy.
Day 8 after the second dive. Third record. Legacy account Raven. Remaining survivors Ripley and Anis. Anis is in a bad condition. Death is very likely at this rate. We discovered this laboratory 4.47 kilometers from the drop-off point. It seems to be a facility that studied Naytibas, but it's hard to obtain accurate information due to severe contamination. However, I discovered an astonishing fact while searching through the data. Before the war we call the Final War, there was another war. It was a war fought between humanity and the androids humanity had themselves created, the so-called Andro-Eidos. Humans lost the war against their own creation. The few humans who did survive hid in underground facilities, but the hunt was far from over. However, an unexpected factor turned the tide of the war. With mankind at the verge of extinction, Naytibas, powerful creatures from an unknown origin, appeared out of nowhere. The war with the Naytibas brought about the destruction of the androids. And so, during this time, mankind was able to make its escape to the colony. From now on, I plan to investigate the origin of Naytibas. Hopefully, at the origin point, I should find the Elder Naytiba. To anyone who may be watching, may Mother Sphere's blessings be with you.
I didn't think a record like this existed.
And there was another big war before the Final War. I never learned about anything like that at the colony.
What do you think, Adam?
The history of mankind is riddled with conflict. It's hardly a surprise to hear about wars before the Final War.
Even so, it's strange that this wasn't passed down. I'll retrieve the legacy and go back.
Wait a moment, Eve. I can pick you up with a tetrapod.
Okay, I'll be waiting.
Tell me, how may I escape?
More truly, I was ruthless. Though it's they're more than love, this to chase the whip, the rainfall. Now it's time.
You did great, Eve. Let's...
As expected. My eyes did not deceive me. Excellent work, Adam. I'll leave this one to you as well.
Let's go to the hyperdrive. Secondary drive energy injection. Initiating activation.
Whoa! It looks brighter now.
Yes. What we're doing is really worth it.
Once again, thank you.
Now it's your turn.
Wait. He will give you an answer.
There's a sewage treatment facility and a train graveyard in the old city center. I am detecting the frequencies of an alpha nativa coming from Matrix 11.
Matrix 11.
I will forward the map data to the tetrapod. It will guide you as you attempt to travel to the alpha nativa's location.
Thanks for helping us. It means a lot.
None of this can compare to all that you have done for Zion, I assure you. I wish you luck.
The town seems different.
I see more people, more signs.
I told you, what we've accomplished has been well worth it. I don't think we'll be catching any more sideways glances.
That's great to hear. To be honest, I was getting a bit anxious.
I'm heading over to the tetrapod. Why don't you take some time to enjoy the new scenery?
Alright, this is where I come back to explain a little bit of these quests here. So this pad here, try not to actually go for the solution. You basically have to multiply the 4 and the 7, for example, and the 7 and the 8, and then you have to add those two together, I believe. Yeah, you have to add those two numbers together. So that's just, if you remember that code, bada bing, bada boom. The second one, however, I believe is actually a little bit more complicated. But yeah, so you basically, out of those three numbers, you multiply 1 and 2, multiply 2 and 3, then you add the multiplication of 1, 2, and 2 and 3 together. So, however, I only do these quests because they give you vid coins, and those vid coins are extremely useful. And also, completing more quests will unlock a little bit more special stuff for us. You do need to complete a couple of the missing husband quests in order to get access to the Where's My Item quest, which only pops up after Matrix 11, which I'm not sure how that tracks. But also, some quests just unlock by strictly just randomly completing things. Also, this quest guy over here you need to complete. He has a lot of, actually, some of the best New Game Plus outfits. Just do his quests. I'm not really going to show how the quests are done, but yeah, there's that for you. But, actually, over here is another little, it's a boss that's here, but he is locked behind an outfit. You do need to pick up one of the optional quests in order for this boss to actually be active. It is only active after Altess Levoire.
What do you think?
You can't come here before Altess Levoire and do that. Unfortunately, you just have to do Altess Levoire first. Also, as far as Enya's and the Sisters quest go, Sisters Junk quest go, I will be showing the ending for each one. The Sisters quest will end in a boss, so I will be showing that because it is actually the only time you fight that boss in particular. It's the Behemoth. He is a roaming enemy though, which is, of course, I never really like it when games do that. Also, I just absolutely love taking damage there. It's kind of interesting because this boss here is used like extremely rarely, but he never he's entirely optional, and I kind of like that. It reminds me of the Asylum Demon in Dark Souls 3, and it reminds me of the first demon you fight in Demon Souls, as far as you only have one shot. And with the Asylum Demon, you fight him in the tutorial, but you can come back later to that area and fight a pseudo-souped-up version of him. Which is pretty awesome, honestly. And obviously the Brute we fought in the very beginning section, and he's optional to find. If you play through the game, naturally without doing much of the side quests, you won't actually be able to fight him. And in hard mode, he is a little bit tougher. I'm used to doing a lot more damage in, this game, because usually I have myself set up for damage and not necessarily defense, but kind of needed for this, honestly. And then, honestly, it makes some of the fights a little bit more of a fest, but I think I enjoy playing like this a little bit more. I'll probably really like it for Demo Crawler, because the music, that boss is my favorite boss of all time, in case y'all did not know that, but I'm just going to let the rest of this boss fight play out, and the outfit you get is a New Game Plus version of Sporty Yellow, which is a Kill Bill reference.
Getting any more enemy signals. Let's head back. Well, after we pay our respects, of course.
welcoming.
Alright, and we have completed this guy's quest. So basically, we do the same thing as Roxanne. Also, this is Red Pearl. So Red Pearl can only be gotten if you got the Black Pearl in regular game by finding all the cans. So thankfully, you don't have to find all the cans again, but just keep in mind, that's the only way to get Red Pearl. This is also the case with the rest of these New Game Plus variants. You have to find the base game version first. But we're just going to rank him, give his affinity up to 3, which honestly, I don't mind this mechanic. It's kind of a nothing mechanic, but that is Forsaken's Denim. I don't like this outfit at all. I don't like that level of asymmetry. I just don't. However, this one actually looks pretty nice. Definitely looks like something out of Resident Evil. However, I like White Full Dress the most out of the outfits that he has. His inventory doesn't get updated. Like Roxanne's will get updated sometimes with newer updates, but he never does. Which is a little disappointing, but it's one of those it is what it is situations. But now we're going to go to Cyrus. He can... Finding the body and the outfit, it's a part of his quest, and honestly, you know, one of those little bit of a whatever moments.
Hey, Angel, what happened?
I'm sorry.
Tommy,
I think he left this for you.
this is... You fool. If you're gonna go and get yourself killed, it's all useless if you're dead. Tommy.
Hey, you okay?
Yes. I should get back to the store. I can't ignore what my friend left behind. I never thought I'd be saying this to you, but...
You're here. Look over here.
What's this?
This here is an alpha signal meter. This device uses the subtle resonance from the alpha core to pinpoint its location. It can't reach a super long distance, but you'll find it useful once you head over to the location Orkul told you about.
Wow, good work. You're gonna put me out of a job.
I thought you were already out of a job.
You little brat.
Thank you for helping me out all the time, Lily.
And just one more.
Alrighty, and this is where we actually obtain double jump, surprisingly enough. But we already have it, so there's not really much of a point in our doing all of this, but
What have you done, Lily?
whatevs, girl, go off, I guess. You unlock the second exospine, I believe, after Altess Levoire. You unlock something different after
Bet you'll notice the difference.
Matrix 11, which, if I said what it unlocked, it'd be a spoiler territory. But you'll see when we get there. But last thing we are missing, I believe, is Adam's outfit, I want to say. Of course, I show off the outfits that we had obtained. So here, not here. Just gotta wait for it to pop up. So here is, well, that blue and black teal one was the newer version of Sporty Yellow. That one there, which, again, if y'all like it, perfectly fine. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of it, though. It's kind of one of those, whatever, sort of outfits. I just go here and unlock a few of the outfits. I will definitely be unlocking a whole lot more of them once we get closer to the end of the game. Because I do want to at least have access to every outfit, which, honestly, I wish Celebrate had an easier way of organizing outfits, because In my opinion, they seem hella random, which I'm not necessarily a huge fan of, but yeah. Also, I couldn't really decide what outfit to put, like what fashion or whatever to put on Eve for like Matrix 11, so that was a little rough. But we do have, I believe we have a couple of things. We do need to go back to 807 because we did pick up a quest. You talked to a little girl in order to really get access to 811. You just have to go to a specific spot, turn on that engine. I'm leaving most of that stuff for y'all to discover for yourselves. But you can go down here now because the water is drained. You just go down this rope. Just a wee. We're gonna have to, you know, go through our guy pretty quickly. He's way more. These enemies are way more tanky than I'm personally used to. I am hoping to get up to max, max sword power relatively soon. I'm assuming we will probably have max by the time we reach Spire 4. But this outfit is Wasteland Explorer. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the outfit, but I mean, it's one of those, you know, I have to obtain all of them. But this is where I show y'all what it looks like. Even I forgot what the base game version looks like. But it is that white one. It's not very much of a difference. I actually prefer regular game version a little bit more. Honestly, I just don't feel like the white really matches with the jean things that much. That's just how I feel about it. But now, the big thing that we have to do is finding Adam's outfit. But we are first going to talk to a little girl. That being said, this whole quest line doesn't really make much sense. I actually think we're going to talk to Roxanne. But I don't think it actually makes much sense. There are a few of the quests that feel pretty out of place. For example, there is an item you get relatively, you get relatively early on. That's just a broken passcode thing or whatever. It's completely useless. There is also several doors. There's one in Matrix 11. There's also what looks to be like a Matrix 11 shortcut in Zion. But in this quest kind of goes nowhere as well. Like it just doesn't make much sense. It definitely feels like a decent amount of the game was cut, and I'm not sure why necessarily.
Who was it?
I would, in my opinion, I would probably guess that it would have spoiled the story a little bit earlier. That's my best guess, though. Also, do keep in mind, if you are trying to keep your Lily's progress low, you cannot do side quests. You just can't. Which, unfortunately, like, Enya's has a really good item. Like, a lot of these side quests have really good items for you at the end of the game. But here, as you can see on the map, we are over here at this wonderful place. This one, you need a double jump for. You just do. I would suggest finding a lot of the Wasteland stuff after you've got obtained double jump, because a lot of the stuff in Wasteland you can only get after getting double jump. This also goes for a lot of the cans too you cannot get without double jump. However, in the previous Wasteland episode, I did show, because you know, I have double jump. And for people that are in New Game Plus that are missing some of the outfits or don't remember where they are, you know, there's that for them as well. And of course, over here you can see is a can location, but actually we are going to be finding another body here shortly as well. Like one of the beta or body cores. Also, I hate this fucking dude. But she is kind of missable. You can see her kind of in the distance, like right over there. Which I almost left because I almost forgot that she was there. But yeah, here we're just going to go ahead and snatch up the core. So I'm not sure why Eve ourselves are really that much different from these body cores, but whatever. But we do have to kind of go into a different little section because Adam's outfit is kind of in a little bit of an iffy spot. Also, I'm not a huge fan of his outfit necessarily. But his outfit's actually right over there to the right, past those guys. Well, not really. He's actually over there in the distance. But the issue that my dumbass was doing is I forgot that it was not on this side at all. So I decided to kind of just brute force and locate it. But unlike most other like Soulsborne or in Souls-like games, you can't open chests when enemies are aggroed on you. And the problem with this is the tentacles are auto-aggroed on you until they're dead. Even if they're far away, they're aggroed until they're dead. Which I almost got messed up here. But, you know, we be chilling, we be chilling. Also, we would have probably died if we would have fallen there. Also, keep in mind, some of these little spider roly-poly guys, some of them will explode when they do that roll attack on you, some of them won't. So you just gotta kind of keep that in mind. And we just gotta kill this tentacle here, which I really should. Okay. I am gonna upgrade my blaster cell, alright? I am. It's just so useless that, you know, it charges up way too slowly. That being said, I do know it's upgraded to New Game Plus, so hopefully, you know, if we even have enough materials to upgrade it most of the way, then we'll, you know, go ahead and do that good stuff. Also, these tentacles do not spawn right after the other, but there is 3 waves of them. Also, I personally find a lot of Adam's outfits to be relatively useless, because, I mean, we barely fucking see them. We see Lily a lot more, which Lily's next outfit will be appearing in the Great Desert, I believe. Adam's last outfit appears in the, in Matrix 11. So that's regular game. This is the new version, which I hate. I just don't like it. I just personally don't like it. But on that note, that's going to do it for the video. Thanks for tuning in, and I will catch y'all in a future episode, and I will catch y'all on the flip side.